Howdy guys, welcome back to BIG Photography. This is Ben, and today I'm going to do something kind of different, and I don't think I've seen anybody else do this, but we are going to retouch my friend Kanoa's photo in front of her.
Hello.
So Kanoa, you can introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kanoa. I've known Ben. We've been friends for
I don't know, five, 6 years maybe.
5 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do today is I wanted to shoot a photo shoot just for this with Kanoa, but we just couldn't find time. So we went ahead and I found some old shoots that we did about 4 or 5 years ago. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and retouch this photo for you guys, but also for her, because I don't think you've ever seen anybody retouch a photo, right?
No.
But like with the photos that we shoot together, you see the end product.
Right.
And a lot of times you don't know like what has been done to it.
Right.
All right, so I think this should be interesting to see how she reacts. Hopefully you won't be too embarrassed all the kind of things I'm gonna have to like touch up on you and stuff. But let's just go ahead and just jump right in. So let's go. Hey guys, just want to jump in here real quick before we get started. So I wanted to keep this video relatively short, so I move pretty fast and there's a lot of things that I miss in my retouch. So if you stay till the end of the video, you will see my final retouch where I spent a little bit more time after we were shooting to make it look how I would like it to look. So hope you enjoy the video. All right, so this is the photo that we're going to be working with. Now we took this.
My God.
I know. I think this was
Throwback.
All right, so if you guys have watched my channel, you kind of know my process, you kind of know what I like to do. So you know that I have my custom macros here, my retouching suite, where I click on this and it automatically gives me all the layers that I usually use. I have a cleanup layer, dodge and burn, a helper, and a contouring. So for the most part, what I always do first is basic cleanup. So basic cleanup is going to be removing little blemishes, pimples, little things that are weird like that. So let's just go ahead and get started with that. Now I usually like to do this with a what's this called? The in-painting brush tool. Make sure we're set to current layer and below. And this is where we're gonna get all up in your face.
Wow.
we're gonna zoom in here.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so a couple things right off the bat. Like these little, like I guess like an eyelash, this little like pimple here. So sometimes when you're trying to figure out like what do I need to remove, a lot of times I'll think about, I'm gonna remove things that are not permanent. So for example, like this little, these little pimples or this little like blemishes, I wouldn't consider these like permanent. Like you don't always have them. But maybe like a freckle, like maybe there's a freckle, I think. I may not remove that because that's a freckle, but sometimes I might, just because, I don't know, it might be distracting, but we'll leave it there for now. This little spot, probably some makeup and just like a few little things here. Now, what
about pores?
So pores, like, I'll kind of like soften them up a bit. So for example here, I'm just gonna go ahead and really quickly get rid of some of these little kind of like
freckles
or freckle things here. So one thing that's interesting about the retouching when I do it is, and I've mentioned this in other videos, is that like when I hang out with Kanoa and we talk, I don't notice every single freckle, wrinkle, pore on her face. And so when I'm retouching a photo, I'm trying to basically portray the best idea that I have in my head. Now, when you stare at a photo, you're looking at a moment in time and you're seeing things that sometimes like the actual person doesn't realize that they have this freckle or this wrinkle here because they're not seeing it frozen in time. So when we come in and do things like this, you know, like maybe these little like things that you know, like, oh, I didn't realize I had that little spot there. I didn't realize I had that thing there. But when you're talking to someone in person, you don't see every single details, but in a photo you do. So that's where we kind of like get rid of them, or I guess remove them. All right, so that's some of that. I'm not gonna worry too much about this stuff here. Like sometimes, you know, okay, for example here, well, yeah, like the hair, I'll get really little like dust and like some of these, especially because it's like backlit by the sun.
Whoa, oh my goodness.
All right, this isn't a super clean job, but.
What did you?
So this tool, the in-painting tool, it's pretty basic. It basically just kind of looks at the surrounding and kind of like figures out like, okay, this is probably shouldn't be there. So I could probably like go over this whole thing here and it'll probably get rid of a lot of it. But sometimes it makes the edges a bit blurry, as you can see here. So sometimes I might have to come in here
with a big
and manually do it, kind of manually do it myself, so it's not so like harsh. But yeah, I think anybody who's watched my channel for a while, I'm not going to be doing anything like brand new. So when I look at this, okay, maybe this little hair I find distracting because it's just like,
hello.
It's just like out and it's like so bright. Nothing else in the background really bothers me, so it's really going to be concentrating on the face here. Now, some of these hairs that go across the face, I definitely want to try to like get out, and especially when they start clumping up, it can be kind of difficult. I don't say difficult, it just takes a bit of time. It's like, I think for it to look its best, you have to kind of do each one like kind of manually. Now, to be fair, when we're looking at this photo on Instagram at like this size, you're not going to even see any of that stuff.
Right.
But as I've said in a lot of my other videos, I like to work at full scale because I've had instances where the model or the subject has said, oh, I really love this photo. Can I get the full resolution one because I want to print it out or I want to make a big poster or something for it. So in that case, it's better to have done the work already as opposed to like, you know, if I'm editing for Instagram, I'm not even gonna, all that stuff I just did, if I turn that layer off, you can't see anything.
You can't see it.
Except the hair, you can't see anything. So it's people like, what, why waste your time? Like, but if I did that and then you came back and like, oh, I really want to print this photo out for a headshot, blow it up big. Oh crap, I got to go back and now redo everything.
Right.
So it's better just to do it right the first time than have to do it again.
How long does it take you?
Depending on the photo, I would probably spend anywhere between 30 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
Hour and a half for something that's really like complicated. But I think this one's not too bad because you already look really good. So, not gonna have to do too much work here. Actually, get rid of these little things here. All right, do you wear contacts?
I think I did in the photo.
Because I think this is a contact line.
So you can erase that too.
Yeah, I'll also erase that. I'm also going to erase some of this redness. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, instead of trying to clone stamp it out, I'm actually going to do a paintbrush. I'm going to grab a normal paintbrush.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab this color here. I'm going to do a lower flow brush, like a 5%, and just kind of like, just basically color it in, like paint it. And because I'm doing a low flow, like it still looks kind of natural. I'm not like painting the eyeballs like white or anything. And I'll go back to my in painting. Even these little like dust spots, you're not even gonna notice, but I just like to get rid of them, clean them up. All right, these little, go ahead.
Yeah, what about the wrinkles? I'm looking forward to the wrinkle part.
Yeah, about this stuff here.
Yeah.
I mean, so I could
use
the same technique and just kind of slowly like.
Okay, you gotta go one wrinkle by one wrinkle.
Yes, I mean,
you can't do like the big old like.
You can, but I always feel that looks a lot less natural. Like you've seen kind of like the Instagram filter look where everybody just like they've just lost all skin texture, right? It's just like they're just like, wow, skin texture, never heard of it, you know. But like here, I've always been told, and I'm happy to hear that people say that, yeah, my retouches don't really look like retouches. They look kind of natural. So I'm like, good, that's what I'm going for, a natural look. There's this one dark spot here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just get rid of this hair, and then we're gonna move on to the next big step, which I think has the biggest dramatic effect. That's gonna be dodge and burn. But so I'm gonna go ahead and grab this area right next to it, low flow brush, and just kind of get rid of that thing there. Eyebrows look pretty good. If I was if this was more of a fashiony, like close-up fashion, I might come over here and just kind of clean up the like eyebrows, just kind of reshape them a bit. There'll be times when I'll also like paint in eyebrows. Like
really?
Yeah, so like really quick to show you, I have a brush that I have for hair.
Like if it was too thin?
Yeah, so I would grab a normal paintbrush. I'm gonna grab this brown color, and then I can switch and do stuff kind of like,
oh wow,
like that, so you can see like,
wow, that's super fine.
Actually no, I'll do it on a different layer so it's a bit easier to see. But yeah, so I could come in here and just kind of maybe grab a darker color, and you just do stuff like this, and you can see like that. I could just you can kind of fill in the eyebrows, make them a bit fuller, you know, add a bit more
Yeah.
texture
that
there.
looks good.
And yeah, from this distance,
Yeah.
it just kind of gives them a little bit more of a fuller look. All right, so let's just say the cleanup step is done. And then now this is the bigger step, which is going to be dodge and burn. And so I think for anybody who's not familiar with retouching, this is the one that kind of takes the most explanation. And so as you know, I like to work in black and white because it lets me only see the values of light and dark, and I'm not distracted by skin color. And so what we're going to basically do is we're going to lighten up dark parts and we're going to darken up lighter parts. So what do I mean? So I'm going to come over here. So let's do this. I have a low flow paintbrush set to black and white. I'm going to grab a 2% flow paintbrush. And so for example, here we have this kind of dark area of kind of just kind of complexion, blemish kind of thing. And it's kind of surrounded by a lighter part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically just lighten it. And because
using white, like black and white?
So actually I'll show you really quick. Let me go ahead and undo all that because it's going to be hard to see when I work on it so slow. Okay, so the way this dodge and burn works is I have a curves layer. It's actually inverted right now. So I have a layer that makes things brighter or darker. So what I do is if I do it really bright, I'm going to go ahead and invert it. So that means that the effect is not being shown. And in order to reveal the effect, I paint with a white color. That's going to reveal that effect. So if I do a really strong, see how like the white comes out, right? But what I do is you do it with a low flow. So it's really subtle, like with each stroke. And you can use that to, if I wanted to make this area lighter, I can slowly paint in that area and you're gonna see like,
oh, what? I couldn't even see that.
Yeah, when you're doing it, like I know what I'm doing because I'm doing it, but if someone else is watching, they're like, I don't even see what you're doing.
Right. That's crazy.
So I'm gonna continue with that. Now, the reason why I work in black and white is because I'm not distracted by the color. I'm only seeing the tonal values. I'm seeing the dark and the light. And so it's a lot easier for me to see like the areas that I kind of need to work on. So actually, I think this was actually set too high right now. And so I'm gonna come over here. And so we're gonna I'm gonna work kind of fast just to kind of speed this up. But I'm looking for areas that are kind of dark and that are surrounded by lighter areas. And I know that like right now, because I'm working so gradually, it's probably really hard to actually see any effect I'm doing. But when I turn it off and on, you're gonna see, you're like, oh wow, it makes like a really big difference. And so the reason why most people like to use this method for retouching skin is because we're not actually like changing the pixels or painting over the pixels, it still retains all of the texture of the skin. So let me just show it right now. So this is going to be before and after. It's really subtle.
That's super subtle.
But if we do it a bit, let's see. So I'm going to go over. This is a great way to kind of see this dark spot, kind of dark under the eyes. So I can come over here. And I'm going to try to like work kind of fast.
Yeah, I used to wear a lot of dark eyeshadow underneath my eye because I thought that was like, a trend.
Was it ever?
Yeah, so in
dark eyeshadow under the eyes?
in Japan or in Asia, a lot of girls draw what they call a namida bukuro, which translates to a tear pocket. So it's like, like the little cute kind of animated type of eye look is what a lot of the girls, they would draw a line underneath. And it works well with monolids,
right?
I think. But for me, it just looked like I had dark circles. But I was really trying there. Because
you naturally have a double eyelid, right?
I think so.
Yeah, but I think for people who are unaware, like a lot of Asian people they don't have that fold above their eye.
Yeah, or underneath.
Or underneath.
Right.
And a lot of girls they like that look of that double eyelid.
Yeah, it's plump, right? And it's cute. But it didn't work with my eyelid. As you can see, it just looks like I got punched in the eye twice. But yeah, so I'm hoping you can erase that or make it lighter.
Well, yeah, so here we can see like that's
yeah,
what I did.
This is like my natural dark circle that you just erased.
Right, and so like that,
Right, yeah.
it looks
Wow.
natural, right? Like
Yeah.
it's so subtle.
So subtle.
But just that little effect kind of does that. And so what I usually do is, and you can keep on talking as I work, is I just kind of go through and, you know, like here, I'm looking for, like, you can see these areas are kind of dark. This is just natural skin complexion, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm not, you know, I think I don't retouch stuff like, oh, this is wrong, this is ugly, I'm gonna get rid of it. It's not, I think it's more of just presenting like your best self. Like when you wear makeup, you wear foundation to kind of smooth out unevenness in the skin, to smooth out like different color, discoloration or blemishes or whatever. I assume I don't wear makeup, but from what I've been kind of told or what I've learned.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to like, you know, present the best version of you. And
yeah,
I mean, I have photos that I've done, I retouch myself. Maybe I'll do that one day. I have a really cool portrait of myself and I'll retouch that. And I'll show you kind of how it is to kind of retouch guys' portraits, because it is a different.
That is different.
Because with guys, you actually want to preserve some of that texture,
like
the ruggedness.
Wrinkle.
Yeah, you kind of want to keep some of that roughness. If a guy is like looking too smooth, it looks kind of like,
a baby.
odd. It's just like that doesn't look real.
Like he was born yesterday or something.
Yeah, or it just looks fake. Where I think for a lot of women, like, you know, they kind of prefer to have like smoother looking skin, no wrinkles showing, things like that. Okay, and so this is also another good way you can kind of take care of like weird shadows. This is really, I think this is an overcast day. There really is no like harsh shadows.
Yeah, true.
But this is what we can do if we want to kind of do this. So I see there's 3 like lines that are kind of light. I'm just gonna, I know you have to put this big light in our face, so it's probably kind of hard to clearly see.
Oh.
But let me see. I'm gonna come down here and work down here. And so yeah, this, and dodge and burn, the name comes from an old like photography technique, like when you had dark room, when you developed photos, like you would, by holding the exposure, or like, I don't know the exact process, I never did it. Even when I did shoot film, I wasn't developing my own film. But you would do things where you would kind of basically, I guess you say, develop certain parts of the photo more than others, and it would become darker or lighter. And so that was kind of like pre-Photoshop.
Wow.
Kind of like, and so those names of dodge and burn comes from that.
Interesting.
Where in this, when I say dodge, I'm meaning to lighten something. And when I say burn, I'm meaning to make it a bit darker.
Wow, throwing some knowledge out there. I had no idea. I was like, why is it called dodge and burn?
Yeah, like dodgeball.
Yeah, it's very intense.
But yeah, I mean, it is a pretty common technique, probably one of the preferred techniques. There's another technique called frequency separation, which I use sometimes, but this is the one that does take a bit longer, but I honestly kind of find it almost relaxing. Normally I'll put on some music and I can just sit here and just like retouch till my heart's content, right?
It's like therapy.
I mean, I find the process enjoyable. I know not everybody does, because I have friends who look at my retouch videos and like, oh man, I could never do that. I just get so bored sitting there like painting little things back and forth. I'm like, no, I kind of
enjoy it.
I enjoy it, and especially this photo is pretty easy, to be fair. But there are other photos where it's almost like problem solving. I'm like, how, you know, if I have, for example, like a big piece of hair covering your face, I'm like, well, how am I gonna fix that and keep it look natural? How am I gonna do whatever? And I kind of really enjoy that process of like having to figure out like how to fix things.
Right.
Like my last video, if anybody watched it, where I talked about like wardrobe corrections, like when you have a dress that doesn't fit someone correctly, you know, how am I going to approach this problem? How am I going to make this dress look like it fits her? How am I going to remove this, fix skin, add skin, you know, do different kind of things. So I kind of enjoy that problem solving process.
Yeah.
So I'm probably almost finishing up here. I mean, like I said, I could personally do this for like 30 minutes just to get everything really perfect. But I think
it was less than 10 minutes.
Is it?
I think, because like,
I don't even know.
about 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, I don't have to do too much work on it. Just, yeah, look okay. All right, so let me see. So I think you probably, because I'm working so gradually, kind of granular.
Yeah, I have no.
You have no idea, like what if I just see the mouse moving? I don't see anything happening, or I don't see anything changing. But I guarantee you, when I turn it off and on, you're gonna be like, oh snap!
Yeah.
Like, actually, you changed all that? Yeah. All right, let's see. We'll do a reveal in a second.
Yeah,
Okay.
it looks so smooth.
All right, so let's see. Actually, this little
Moment of truth.
Yeah, actually, just grab this one. Yeah, we'll see. If this is too long on the video, I'll probably speed this part up. But yeah, I'm just trying like to even out the kind of complexion, like just to even it out and make it while still retaining the texture, because we still there's still texture here.
Right.
You know, that's what makes you look you. That's what makes you look human. You know, not like one of these Instagram filters where everybody has like the same face and this is all smoothed out and you can't even recognize anybody.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do a reveal here. See if we're doing.
Right.
Okay, so here is our before.
Whoa.
Here's our after.
Whoa.
Let me go ahead and turn the black and white off so you can kind of see like that was the before and that was the after.
Yeah.
And so you can see like it's a subtle look, like this is the from full size.
Right.
But it does just enough to kind of, you know, and this is where when you look at it this height, I might see, okay, there's a little bit of like now I can see like this part's light. I just want to make that light streak a bit darker. And so, yeah, you just kind of sometimes go back and forth. And sometimes here you might see, like, I can see this is kind of light. But actually, this is really fine. So I think I'm going to come over here to our original pixel layer with our in-painting brush tool and just kind of get rid of some of the like more finer like spots, because even though they're small, sometimes when you zoom out from a distance, they appear more noticeable, like the little specular highlights on your skin. You know, it's just like where the pores just kind of grabbed the light and kind of got shiny. And so again, it's not something that's bad, but you know, sometimes it's you see like a little white speck and it kind of just, you're like, what is that little white speck? And so once I've done that, I can just go through and see, you see how there's a little dark line there? I'm just gonna see if I can get rid of that. So yeah, that's our before, that's our after. But you know, it still looks like you. It's you.
It does.
It's not like, who is this person?
Right.
Now I look at it, I see this like here on the lip. I think I want to fix that too. So I'm gonna go back to my cleanup step, and I'm actually just gonna take this part of the lip here. I'm gonna clone stamp it so that it just looks. I'm just basically copying and pasting in a sense. Yeah, I think that looks a bit more natural. You don't have.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, you don't have that little kind of bump in the lip. And again, like it's not like it's a fault. It's just sometimes the light hits your lips weird. The shadow. There's a bunch of reasons why that may have been. So yeah. All right. So I think we're good with this dodge and burn step. And this means that we're pretty much near done. Now the last thing that I'd like to do is I have another dodge and burn layer. This one's called contouring. Now contouring, I guess most women probably know what that is who do makeup, right? Where you kind of create depth and shadow and highlight by doing stuff with your makeup. I do something similar. So just like before, so let me just do an example here. So just like before, I'm gonna go really, really strong. Just like before, where I used, you know, light or, you know, come over here and do dark. But I'll use this to create more depth. So for example, I might do like some light here.
Oh, like
light
actually
like here,
contour.
like light maybe here in the forehead, maybe here in the chin.
Yeah.
Maybe here, and then I'll switch and I'll go to dark and then maybe do like add shadow here.
Right.
Add shadow like that, and maybe add shadow like here.
Right.
To kind of create like
a contour.
Right. But I do it with a much, much softer brush. So I'm gonna do that really quick. And here I just usually work in color. And so just by adding a little bit of highlighting here, and you can see
that glow.
like, yeah, just that little bit of glow, right? And usually I look to do it where there already is highlights. I don't like to add highlights that aren't there. But even like, I forget what this is called. There's a name.
Cupid's bow?
Is that what it's called? Okay,
I think.
I thought there was like an official name for it.
I think it's called Cupid's bow.
Do it on the forehead. Also do it in the eyes a little bit to kind of brighten up the eyes. And then so you can see like,
oh,
might be a bit too much. So I'm gonna
still subtle.
I'm gonna knock the opacity down and maybe do it like something around there. And then burn, I'm gonna be darkening. So maybe darken like right here on the cheek, underneath the chin. Usually by darkening like this edges of the face, it kind of makes the face look smaller. And then maybe just a bit on the nose. And then I like to darken, let me go a bit higher flow. I like to darken around the eyes. Just kind of gives a bit more
smoky
like,
look.
Yeah. Maybe it's just a me thing, but like I kind of like to have that like smokier look. Let's see, like, yeah, you see like that little bit of like, it just adds a little bit of depth. And let's maybe just do a little bit of a shading here and something like that. And yeah, when you're, like I said, when I'm working, unless you're actually doing it, it's really hard to even see what's being done. But here you go, like that's before, that's after.
Yeah.
See, we just kind of gave a little bit of like pop. I think the dodge is a bit too strong, so I'm actually gonna lower that even more. But yeah, you can see like that. And so if we do everything, so this is before and this is after, right? And so like, it's only when you really see like the work that I did, you know, and you know, this is a really quick retouch. I probably would, if I look at, so for example, this is what we did on this, it's not that one. This is what we did on that. So this is all the little brush marks I made on that dodge layer. And this is the one I made on the burn layer. And the contouring, you can see, is where I contoured. And the reason why, actually the reason why it should be like that. So that's like that.
Looks like a ghost.
Yeah, so as you can see, this is where I added the stuff. On this one, this is where I added the really dark.
Creepy.
But actually I'm gonna lower that down a bit. And then, you know, if there's any parts that are a bit too much, I can come in with a black brush, because when we're using a mask, black kind of erases. And I can just kind of soften the edges a bit and just do something like that.
A mask brush?
Well, I'm working with a mask basically, which is we're kind of showing like the parts I want to see and not see.
Right.
And so if we do back, before and after, and I think we're pretty much done with this one. Normally the last thing I always do is the color grading, which I'm not really going to do too much, because usually this is where I can spend too much time. But you know, if I wanted to do like a really quick look, you know, maybe bring up some blues in the shadow, bring up in the yellow there. Maybe I can add some more contrast, you know, and just, you know, I can do all kind of different looks, but usually, and usually I'll play around for way too long, because it's just like you never decide what looks good.
Right.
But, how was that? What'd you think of that?
I can't believe that all that magic is happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, that was, let me look at how much time was that? 29 minutes. So that's actually pretty fast. It's not too bad. Normally, like when it's just me, I might spend more time to be really, really precise. This is just kind of a quick, fast edit. But I thought it'd be kind of fun for you who has your photo taken quite a bit, but probably never actually seen like the whole process of like.
Now I know what, you know, everybody that comes home and uploads the photos, they're just like, all right, let's get going here. Like, let's get to work.
Yeah, it is a process. Okay guys, here's my final edit where I spent a little bit more time. So this is the before and here is the after. Just a few things that I missed there in the initial video, like little details like the fingernail polish, fixing some of that. I did a bit more work on the hair just to kind of clean up some of those strayaways. But one of the main things I wanted to fix was, and she mentioned this, and I didn't really understand what she was saying at first, but she mentions having this kind of dark eye makeup under her eyes, kind of like a fashion thing. But then she realized it kind of makes her look like she just got, you know, hit in the eye or something. And so I wanted to go ahead and reduce that more, but still kind of keep some of that natural line underneath, as well as keep some of her skin texture smooth it out a bit, but keep it looking natural. So this is the before and here is the after. And this looks a bit more how I would like it to look if I had spent more time with it. But like I said, I wanted to keep the video kind of short. So anyways, let's go back to the video.
A real professional, Ben. I'm very impressed.
Thank you very much.
Super impressed.
All right, well guys, I hope this one wasn't too long, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you guys enjoy this, I'd like to make more, because I do have a lot of other friends who would probably be really interested in doing this, as long as they're okay with me zooming into their face on the screen.
Real up close and personal.
Kanoa, thank you very much for helping me with this. I know it was kind of hard to get our schedules to line up, but I think we finally got around to doing it. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and we will see you the next time. I'll leave Kanoa's Instagram stuff down below, and you can check her out, because yeah, you've been in some commercials and even some movies out here.
Yeah, in a few.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's pretty cool. All right, well, that's gonna be it for today, and I guess I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, peace.
Everybody follow Ben.